I turned 25 that year. Nick finally agreed to take an overseas trip with me. Right before we boarded, he texted that his mom was sick, and left me standing there with my shaky English. That night, abroad, I saw Chloe post a photo of Nick sleeping in her bed. If that's what true love looks like, one phone call and he'd ditch the airport to rush to her, then what did that make me? Everyone stared, waiting to see how the official girlfriend would react. I ended up commenting, "If you've already shared a bed, you can forget about talking your way out of it without a wedding ring, huh?" Nick knows my English is weak. He still left me alone at the airport. At first I wasn't angry, "My mom is sick" sounded reasonable. He didn't reply to my texts though. I even thought about asking if he needed anything from me. Then I saw Chloe's post, the picture of him, still in pajamas, on her bed, with that pointed caption. If true love only takes a single call for him to drop everything and go to her, where did that leave us? I snapped, and we had a huge fight. As always, he tossed out, "She's just a friend. You always think the worst of people." Then he blocked me. So there I was, alone, with lousy English, enduring the side-eye, and somehow stumbling through a 15-day trip on my own. The day before I flew home, Nick unblocked me. He texted, "I'll pick you up at the airport tomorrow." I knew he wanted to patch things up. In our relationship, Nick always held the upper hand. He could block me every time we argued and only unblock me when it suited him. I could never bring myself to do the same to him. That's exactly why, for years, he called the shots and I kept swallowing it. But 15 days of fending for myself in a foreign country made me reevaluate everything. Before, I would have been thrilled to make up. This time, I felt nothing. I wrote back, "Thanks," tossed my phone aside, and kept packing. I knew he wouldn't reply. But before I fell asleep, another message popped up, "See you tomorrow." I turned my phone off and slept straight through. At 7 p.m., my flight touched down. I scanned the arrivals hall. No sign of Nick anywhere. I hauled 2 giant suitcases toward the exit. A taxi driver leaned out and called, "Miss, need a ride?" I smiled. "Not yet, someone's supposed to pick me up." I'd already sent Nick my flight info, he knew exactly when to be there. But I waited until the sky went black, taxis cycling through one after another, and Nick still didn't show. No texts, nothing. The driver rolled his window down again. "Miss, I've come through 3 times. If you don't go now, you might not get a cab." I dragged my bags to the curb and said, "Let's go." By the time I got home, it was past midnight. Worried about me getting in alone, the driver pulled all the way up to the gate of my apartment complex. He flicked on his high beams, lighting up the path, and didn't leave until I was safely inside the building. Still, not a single message from Nick. I didn't scold him. I splashed some water on my face, then collapsed on the couch and opened a text from my manager. "Still not seriously considering that overseas assignment? It's just 2 years. You can always take vacation and fly back to see your boyfriend. She's my direct supervisor, and lately there's been a project in New Mexico that needs people. She'd been nudging me to apply." I'd used my poor English as an excuse, but she knew the truth. I just couldn't bring myself to be far from Nick. Another message came through, "When you return to the States, your annual salary could go up to $120,000. I'll be there with you, don't worry." Nick and I met in college, started dating junior year, and have been out 3 years now. For 5 years, my whole life orbited around him. At graduation, the school had us write our wishes for the future on sticky notes. Amid lines like $5 million salary, get elected to the National Academy, and become a big-shot CEO, I wrote, very seriously, build a home with Nick. For 5 years I centered everything on him, yet something as small as picking me up from the airport was apparently too much. Ridiculous. I texted my manager, "I'll go." She immediately sent back an excited voice note, "That's right, Lynn, this project can't happen without you. Go register for IELTS. Aim for a 6.5 next month and you're set." Even seeing the word English gives me a headache. Grinding through practice has kept my scores decent, but my speaking never seems to improve. I used to rely on Nick to shield me from all that. Without him on this trip, my halting English drew more than a few condescending looks. I opened my laptop, signed up for next month's exam, and pulled up past test papers to study. I hadn't studied long before I nodded off at my desk. Half asleep, I heard a key turn in the lock and footsteps. Lynn, he called my name a few times. When he reached the office doorway and saw me slumped over, his voice sounded tight. Lynn. I rubbed my eyes and sat up. You're back? He froze for a second, his frown deepening. I had no idea what he was angry about. Was it because I wasn't doing what I used to, waiting up to ask why he never came to pick me up, then accusing him about Chloe, and starting another fight? I just finished up, he said. I texted you, but you didn't reply. I unlocked my phone. Sure enough, there were a few missed calls and messages asking where I was. It was close to 1 a.m. Chloe had a relapse with her claustrophobia, he said. She started hurting herself. I couldn't leave, so I didn't even let him finish. He stood there, stunned, then sighed. I know you're upset, but she and I, upset about what? I gave a thin smile, stood, and stretched. It's late. I'm exhausted. Whatever it is, let's talk tomorrow. Lynn, his tone sharpened, if you've got something to say, say it. Don't play games with me. I'm not playing anything, I said, suddenly at a loss. He rarely faltered in front of me. If he stayed silent before, it was because he chose not to speak, not because he couldn't. I pulled the blanket up on the bed. Get some sleep. Don't overdo it. I closed my eyes, my breathing evening out. In the haze of drifting off, I thought I heard the door slam as he left. I knew what he was mad about. It was rare for him to bend, and I hadn't met him halfway. But that wasn't my problem anymore. That night, I slept like a rock. In the morning, I opened the bedroom door and saw a small cake on the dining table. Nick sat in a chair. Lynn, he said, happy belated 25th birthday. I blinked. So he did remember I'd gone abroad to celebrate my birthday. I didn't go with you that day because Chloe's treatment for claustrophobia failed, he said. The doctor said if I didn't come, she'd hurt herself. That night I only fell asleep on her bed because I was exhausted, it wasn't what you think. And about last night, I stepped over, bent down to look at the pretty little cake. You arranged this? I asked. Thank you. He paused, a flicker of irritation crossing his face. Lynn, the candles are lit. I pressed my palms together. I wish to get a 6.5 on my IELTS next month. Then I blew the candles out in one clean breath. I flashed him a polite smile. Thanks. Quite the thoughtful welcome for my first day back in the States. Nick frowned. Lynn, can you hear me out? I smiled. You mean about you and Chloe? No need. I'm not jealous anymore. He stared at me, a strange look in his eyes. I picked up the knife, cut the cake, set a slice in front of him, then took my own and tasted a bite. It's good. I'm not mad. You're not? He looked incredulous. I blinked. Why would I be? You two practically grew up together. Taking care of each other is normal. He went quiet for a long moment. When he looked at me again, there was a flicker of guilt. Lynn, my company has a get-together tonight. We can bring a +1. I raised an eyebrow. You want me to go with you? He nodded. Yeah. You've always thought I wasn't serious about us. This time I want to bring you and introduce you to my coworkers. I paused mid-bite. Before, I would have been over the moon, throwing my arms around his neck and kissing him all over. Now I simply set the fork down. Pass. I'm busy tonight. Overtime, I thought, plus IELTS studying. But if I said that, he'd pepper me with questions, so I just nodded vaguely. I'll wait for you to finish, then we can go together, he pressed. Let it go. I don't want to. Nick's hand tightened on my arm. Once upon a time, I would never have missed a chance to show up at his side. I used to relish being the girlfriend, secretly wishing the whole world knew we were a couple. Nick's brow furrowed. But I was planning to bring my plus one. I turned away and started changing to head out. I'm swamped lately. No time. I kept my back to him and focused on getting ready. A minute later, I heard a chair scrape hard against the floor. He grabbed his jacket. Suit yourself. I'll take Chloe. He slammed the door on his way out. I glanced at the door, then went back to packing. My assignment had just been greenlit. My best friend, Diane, was catching a red-eye so we could have a farewell dinner. My phone chimed with a special alert from Chloe's Instagram. I used to obsess over every little sign between Nick and Chloe, even though it hurt every time. I couldn't stop tracking the details of whatever was going on between them, so, reluctantly, I'd put Chloe on a special watch list. In a polished party selfie, she was linking arms with a man. The suit hid his face, but I knew it was Nick. Her caption read, "Childhood sweethearts, basically family, right?" Nick liked the post. He rarely posts at all, barely even likes or comments. He only does something this out of character when we've been fighting about Chloe. Before, I would have called him on the spot or jumped in a cab to confront them about that family line. This time, I just tapped like, then removed both of them from my special alerts. Diane texted, "What are you thinking? Don't tell me you're going back to that guy again." I laughed and powered off my phone. As if. I'm crashing at your place tonight. The next morning, I woke to something I almost never see, a missed call from Nick, and an unread text. "It's late. Why didn't you come home?" A bit later he added, "I didn't stay long at the party." Back then, whenever he had a night out, I'd head home early to prep a hangover fix. When he stumbled and drunk, I'd take off his shoes, change his clothes, get broth into him, and clean up the vomit. He never came home to an empty place. I replied. "I'm out with Diane." "What's up?" He took a long time to answer. "Nothing. I'd signed up for an intensive IELTS boot camp, on-site for a few days, barely home at all." Rarely, Nick texted first, "Have dinner with me tonight." There were things we needed to say out loud. Dinner could be a good chance. I texted back. "Okay. I'll head home after work." He replied immediately, "I'll pick you up." I didn't respond right away. My supervisor, Ms. Troy, pulled me into a meeting to go over details of the assignment. At 5:30, Nick texted. "I'm waiting for you in front of your office building." When I came downstairs, I didn't see his car. After a couple of checks of his messages, he finally pulled over from the building across the street. "Did you change jobs?" he asked. "Yeah. I did." The truth was, I'd switched a while ago. He just almost never came to pick me up, so he hadn't noticed. Back then, I used to think about telling him, but every time I asked Nick to pick me up, he acted annoyed. "You're an adult. Can't you find your way home?" He'd say he picked up Chloe because she was a patient. "You're healthy, why compare yourself to someone who's sick?" So I stopped asking. Afraid he'd think I was being needy again, I pretended not to see his hand reaching to take my bag and walked straight to the back seat. His hand froze on the front passenger door. "Lynn," he called. I'd already opened the rear door, and looked up. "What is it?" His face tightened. "Why are you sitting back there?" That's when I hesitated. The front passenger seat was always reserved for Chloe. She'd said her claustrophobia only felt manageable if she sat somewhere with an open view. We'd fought about it before. He'd smashed a glass, staring at me like I was unreasonable. "Do you have to compete with a patient? Do you just want me to admit there's something between us?" We stayed angry for a month after that. Since then, I never argued about the front seat. Habit, I guess. Back here is fine. No, he sounded impatient. I paused. Sit up here. I blinked, a little surprised. Okay. My voice was neutral, like we were coworkers, nothing to fight about. As I moved into the front seat, I could feel his eyes on me the whole time. In the car, the air went heavy. He glanced at me now and then. Usually I was the one keeping the conversation going. This time, whenever I started to speak, he cut in with, "Don't distract me while I'm driving." I wasn't in the mood anyway. I leaned back, closed my eyes, and tried to disconnect from his gaze. Ding ding, his phone rang. I opened my eyes. It was Nick's call screen. The photo was of the two of us, but the caller name flashed Chloe. He hung up immediately. A moment later, ding ding, again. He went to decline it, hesitated a beat, then tapped reject. I picked up the phone, answered, and handed it to him. He faltered for a second before putting it to his ear. "Nick," Chloe's voice shook, "I'm scared, my claustrophobia's flaring up again. I can't remember where I put my keys. I can't get out. I'm terrified, can you come help me?" Nick looked at me, gripping the phone. "I'll call someone else for you." Her voice on the other end turned frantic. "No, Nick, I only want you. Only you can help me." Nick frowned, glanced at me, then seemed to think better of whatever he was about to say. I knew exactly what was running through his head. In the past, on the rare nights he came to pick me up, one call from Chloe and he'd leave me to go get her. If I made a fuss, he'd get irritated. "It's just a few more blocks, can't you get home by yourself?" Chloe's a patient, she might not even recognize her own place. We grew up together, what's wrong with helping each other? You're healthy, stop comparing yourself to her. Do you just want me to admit there's something between us? Enough. Get out of the car and cool off. The last time, it was 1 a.m., after a blow-up, he still drove off to fetch Chloe. I walked home alone in the dark, FaceTiming with Diane the whole way. Almost to the intersection up there. "Drop me off there," I said now, pointing ahead. "Forget it," he muttered. "It's not safe for a delicate little thing like you to walk alone. I'll take you home first, then go." I laughed. "It's a few blocks. I can manage. And it's not convenient, don't trouble yourself. I'm just stopping by the supermarket up front." He kept a hand on my arm, as if the line felt familiar to him. He drove me to the store. When I stepped out, he suddenly caught my hand. "Hey, have dinner at home with me tonight." I blinked. "Okay. I'll make you a plate." I slipped my hand free, his fingers closed on air as I shut the door. "Lynn," he called from outside the car, sounding a bit urgent. I smiled. "It's fine. She's a patient. Go." I turned and walked into the supermarket. Back home, I cooked 2 portions. By 7:30, Nick still wasn't back. I looked at the empty chair across the table and the dishes I'd set out. Unlike before, I didn't wait, I picked up my chopsticks and ate alone. When I finished, he still hadn't come. No texts on my phone, nothing new on Instagram either. Usually, whenever Chloe called him, he'd at least drop a post online, but tonight was different. I cleared my plate, washed it, put it away, wrapped his portion in plastic, and slid it into the fridge. Then I went to my office, worked through 2 IELTS practice sets, and when I looked up, it was already past midnight. Immersed in my own work, the hours flew by. For all that time, I didn't think about Nick at all. It felt good, being absorbed in my own things without distraction, a quiet fullness settling in my chest. Turns out, happiness doesn't have to hinge on anyone. I didn't ask when he'd be home, just left a note on the table saying there was dinner in the fridge, washed up, and went to bed. The next morning when I woke, Nick still wasn't back. The note was exactly where I'd left it. I didn't dwell on it. I tidied up and headed out. All morning I was busy with work and didn't think about Nick. At lunch I noticed several missed calls from him. Right then, he called again. I picked up, his voice sounded urgent. Why weren't you answering? It felt strangely familiar, like I should have been the anxious one, not him. But I was calm. I was busy this morning. What's up? I kept the same tone I'd use with a coworker. He was quiet for a moment before saying, nothing. It's just, Chloe's condition got worse. I didn't have time to tell you. Oh. I smiled. Got it. You don't need to explain. I'm not mad. Really? Maybe it was my imagination, but now that I wasn't angry, he sounded unsettled, like he wanted some emotional reaction from me. But I thought I'd made myself clear. Right. I'm not mad. I understand. My team's heading to lunch, I added. I'm going to eat. Anything else? He sounded a bit defensive. About last night, that's on me. I'll cook for you today. I'll pick you up tonight. Okay? I thought I'd misheard. Never mind that he only ate at home a handful of nights a month, he'd never once cooked for me. When Chloe had a crisis, he'd make porridge for her himself and soothe her. With me, if I was upset, he'd frown and say, "You cook so well, can't you make your own?" Back then I told him, choking up, it's not about the porridge. It's that you can cook for someone else but have never cooked for me. He frowned. What's the difference? You'd eat it either way. There is a difference. A big one. Once upon a time, if he'd offered to cook and pick me up from work, I would have been overjoyed. Now I felt nothing. All I could think was, if he's home tonight and I go back, I won't get any studying done. So I turned him down. Tonight I'm having dinner with coworkers, I won't be home. I didn't expect him to ask, are there any male coworkers? Last month, when Chloe had her birthday, he went with her to San Diego for 3 days. We argued, he was impatient. We didn't go alone, he'd said. A bunch of us celebrated, what's the problem? And even if it were just me and her, we grew up together. It's basically family, nothing inappropriate. He hates me weighing in on his social life, so why does he get to question mine? I hedged, both guys and girls. So? He went quiet for a beat, then said, a little stiffly, nothing. Take care of yourself. Thanks. You too. Of course, the coworker dinner was a lie. I just wanted more study time. I worked until 11, when the building guard asked me to head out, so I packed my laptop and went downstairs. I'd barely opened the rideshare app when a car stopped right in front of me. Nick stood there, eyes a little red. I hesitated. How was the dinner? He asked. Fine, I said. He forced a thin smile. You didn't eat with coworkers, did you? I kept up the act. No, the dinner ended ages ago. I came back to take care of something. Lynn, he said, voice a little hurt, I was outside your office at 6:30. I saw some of your coworkers heading out. They said there wasn't any dinner tonight. I froze. What were you doing there at 6:30? His eyes looked a little glassy. Lynn, did you forget what today is? My mind went blank. First thought, 10 days left until the IELTS exam. Lynn, he said, it's my birthday. My eyes went wide, guilt flushed my face. Oh, God, I'm sorry. That's on me. Let's go home and celebrate, okay? I tugged at his sleeve, but he didn't move, just stared at me with red-rimmed eyes. I'd never forgotten his birthday before. Last year I even threw a surprise party at our place and invited all our mutual friends. Everyone knew I'd tucked an engagement ring into the bouquet on top of the cake. I've never believed romance has to start with the guy, I can take the first step too, go after the future I want. But that day he humiliated me in front of our friends. People waited and waited, he never showed. They gave me complicated looks. Fighting back tears, I called him. His voice sounded exhausted. I'm at the beach with Chloe. What is it? I clenched my fist. You don't remember it's your birthday? Oh, If you hadn't said anything, I'd have forgotten. So what? Why aren't you home? On your birthday, shouldn't I be the one by your side? He was impatient. I'm tired. I don't want to argue. Nick, my voice shook, I planned a surprise for you, our friends are all there watching. Who told you to plan anything for me? He snapped. It's just a birthday. You're overdoing it. It's not like I'm missing a meal. I swallowed the hurt. Just the two of you at the beach? Why? From the background, Chloe's light laugh floated through. Ugh, so annoying, she asks every day where he is. Nick said something to Chloe, then came back to me. Drop the birthday and the surprises, okay? Stop bothering me. What's so important about it? I'm your boyfriend, not your dependent. My birthday, how I celebrate it, who I'm with, where I go, that's my business, not yours. Don't act like you're the center of the universe, okay? My phone was on speaker, everyone heard his voice, and then the flat beep as he hung up. Right before the line died, I heard his weary sigh. Lynn, did you really forget my birthday? Now, in front of me, he gripped my wrist. I tried to pull away a few times but couldn't, then sighed. It's just a birthday. What's the big deal? His eyes flashed with surprise, his hand trembling slightly where it held me. We were probably headed for a breakup, but I still didn't want to make a scene on his birthday. A relationship deserves a good beginning, and a decent end. I softened my tone. Look, the day isn't over yet. We can still make it right. No more drama, let's go. I'll pick up a few things, there's still time. He searched my face, a worried look in his eyes. You're still mad? I let out a bright laugh. How could I be? I was too suspicious before. I won't be mad at you anymore. He blinked, unsure whether to be relieved or uneasy. Don't you love sweet and sour ribs? I added. But it's your birthday, why should you cook? Let's go buy some ribs. Come on, the supermarket's still open. I flashed him a big smile, took his hand, and tugged him toward the car. At last, he seemed to relax a little. Lynn, I was wrong before. Shoo, I put a finger to my lips. It's your day. Let's not dig up old fights. We passed a store that sold cigarettes, and I asked him to pull over. A moment later, I came back with 2 packs, opened one, and held out a cigarette. Here, it's your birthday. Go ahead, enjoy. I won't say a word. He stared, startled. I'd always been strict about his smoking. At first he'd tried to quit for me, later he grew impatient. It's a company thing, how do you socialize without a cigarette? Chloe doesn't police me, why do you? He looked at the cigarette in my hand, worry flickering in his eyes. Why are you being so nice to me? I tilted my head and smiled. It's your birthday. But after today, cut back, okay? It's bad for your health. In my head, I added one more line, we're probably about to break up. But I wasn't going to say that on his birthday. He seemed relieved, took the cigarette, and we headed home with the groceries. The door had barely opened when a blur launched itself into Nick's arms. Huh. Surprise, I came to celebrate your birthday. Aren't you thrilled? Chloe chirped. Startled, Nick pushed her off and shot me a worried look. Chloe knows the passcode to our place. Nick once said, she's a woman living alone, it's safer if she can come here anytime. It's Nick's condo, I've never had much say. My eyes paused on the ring on her finger, then I smiled. A guest is a guest. We've got plenty of ingredients, let's eat. I'll help you, I said. Nick bolted for the kitchen, leaving Chloe awkwardly planted in the foyer. I nudged him back out. It's your birthday, you shouldn't be fussing. Don't make more work for me. He stopped at the doorway, a little wounded looking. Chloe tugged his sleeve. Nick, I brought you a present. That's when it hit me, I hadn't prepared a gift at all. At dinner, Chloe sat beside Nick. He told her to scoot closer, then glanced over at me. Lynn, come sit next to me. I took a sip of soup. No need. You two grew up together, childhood sweethearts. Sitting side by side is perfectly fine. Chloe giggled, settled in at his elbow, picked out a piece of fish, deboned it, and dropped it into his bowl. Nick, have some fish. Last time you nearly choked on a bone, so I'll get them all out first. Then maybe don't buy this type next time, she added. Nick doesn't even like it. When I cooked for him. Enough, Nick cut in, flat. Chloe blinked, taken aback. He'd always prioritized her over me. These are dishes my girlfriend made, he said. If you don't want to eat, you can leave. Nick, Chloe's face flushed. I smiled lightly. It's fine. I won't make this fish for you again. I lifted a piece into my own bowl. I won't make it for Nick anymore, just for myself. Because I really do like it. Chloe pouted, speared a rib, and took a bite. Chloe suddenly scrunched up her face. Lynn, why do these ribs taste sour? Is the meat even fresh? Then she lifted the rib she'd already bitten and pressed it to Nick's lips. Nick, try it. Doesn't it taste off? Or is it just my taste buds? Smack. The rib hit the table. Chloe stared, stunned. Get out, Nick said, cold. She blinked as if she'd misheard. What did you say? I said, get out. Nick, do you know what you're saying? Her voice broke. Do I need to show you the door? Tears spilled. She shot to her feet, covered her face, and ran out. The door slammed so hard the whole place rattled. Those two childhood sweethearts always did like slamming doors when they were mad. Nick stood, moved to sit beside me. She's been spoiled by her family. Don't be upset. I smiled. It's fine. A knock sounded. Nick frowned. I'll tell her to leave. Don't. I stopped him and went first. It's probably the gift I ordered. His eyes brightened. I took the bag from the delivery guy, shut the door, and handed it to Nick. Happy 26th, Nick. Inside was a red velvet ring box. A flicker of barely hidden pleasure crossed his face, until he opened it. His expression darkened. What are you trying to say with this? It's a men's ring. Didn't you say you liked that design? It's hard to find, they were low on stock here. I asked the saleswoman to hold one for me. You don't like it? He seized my hand, gripped tight. Why would you give me this? You don't know Chloe has the same one? I remembered how Chloe had flashed her ring under his nose, asking if it looked good, and how seriously he'd inspected it. I smiled. At first, I didn't know. I just thought you liked the style. His fingers trembled. I led him to the bedroom, pulled open the right-hand drawer of his desk, and took out another identical red velvet box. The nap of the velvet was already rubbed thin. Nick stared at me, rattled. I opened it and managed a small, sour smile. This is the ring I bought for you, the same model as Chloe's. Only this one had a few tiny stones missing. The scratches said it was already old. He always kept this drawer locked. I'd assumed it held important documents. It turned out his desk drawer had broken recently. I asked a repairman to fix it, and he accidentally found the ring and told me. My throat tightened. 5 years of swallowing hurt isn't easy to let go of. For a moment, I wanted to use this chance to finally air everything I'd kept inside. Nick, I said, that's when I realized Chloe's ring is a matching pair. A look I rarely saw, confusion, flickered in his eyes. No, Lynn. I just forgot about it. She gave it to me a long time ago. I really liked it back then and didn't even know it was part of a couple's set. And that was before we were together. Later I locked it away so you wouldn't misunderstand. It doesn't mean anything. I shook my head. But when she asked if it looked good, you said it did. He paused, then said softly, she's a patient. I didn't want to set her off, her family spoils her. I gave a small smile and set the ring back in its box. Okay. Let's eat. Lynn, he grabbed my hand quickly. I turned, smiling lightly, my voice gentle. Don't make a scene, okay? Be good. After dinner, I have something to tell you. We'd only taken a few steps when he suddenly wrapped me up from behind. In 5 years, he'd only held me like that at the very beginning. He lowered his face to my ear. Lynn, don't be like this. You're mad at me, aren't you? I know you've been angry these past few days. I was wrong, I exhaled and smiled. I'm not mad. Really? But his arms tightened. You're angry because I've been too close to Chloe, right? I won't handle her anymore. I'll have my parents take care of her. I won't go over there. I'll change the code to the lock, too. In my life, besides you, there won't be any other woman, okay? I said nothing. After a long moment, I sighed softly. Nick, see? You know what you did wrong. He held my arms, trembling, his voice shrinking to a whisper. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, just this once. I patted his hand and turned around. All right. Let's eat. This is the last meal I'll cook for you. Ding ding, his phone blared, loud and shrill. He answered in a hurry, said a few clipped words, then grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. Something came up at work. I have to step out. At the door, he suddenly turned back, planted a quick kiss on me. Wait for me to come back. Then he spun around and left. I'd seen the caller ID earlier, it wasn't the company. It was Chloe. After that, he never came back. Not even a text. He rarely touched his Instagram before, but suddenly he started posting every day. Day 1, he and Chloe had a blow-up, and he called her parents to take her home to recover. Day 2, he was working himself to exhaustion at the office. Day 3, a few college photos of us, thinking about the old days, he wrote. I still didn't text him. I did send one message, there are some things we should talk about in person. He didn't reply. It felt like he was trying to dodge the inevitable. But when one person refuses to talk, the breakup is already done. Meeting face to face would only be for appearances, and I didn't need that. He didn't come home, and I quietly packed my things. This condo is his, I erased every trace of myself and put everything back the way it was. I'd finished my IELTS exam, I'd be leaving soon. Before I left, my coworkers threw me a big farewell party. I drank more than I should have. I don't know who called Andrew, the man I broke up with long ago, but when my teammates helped me outside, I fell into a familiar, steady pair of arms. Thanks for looking after her, Andrew said politely. Someone joked, with how much he cares, no wonder Lynn refused to take that New Mexico assignment at first. I felt Andrew go rigid, his arm tightened around me. I didn't want a scene, so I pretended to be drunker than I was. Andy, let's go home. I'm wiped. He finally moved, settled me into the passenger seat, and buckled me in. On the drive, his hands clenched the wheel. What did they mean by that? He asked. I stopped pretending to be out of it and rubbed my temple. There's a project there. They need me on site. The veins stood out on his hands, but he kept his voice even. How long? 2 years. Silence. Then softly, 2 years isn't that long. I can wait. Wait for what? He pulled over, took out a red velvet ring box, and opened it. Inside, a woman's diamond ring glittered. Under the streetlight, his eyes were full of warmth and a kind of desperate clarity. Lynn, he said, marry me. I stared at the ring, then after a long beat, a laugh slipped out. Andy, did you know, last year on Nick's birthday, I hid a ring just like this in his cake? I paused. Well, not exactly like this. That one was a men's ring. His face went pale. I was smiling, but tears were already falling. Andy, our taste is almost identical, I said softly. It's a shame, it's all too late. He gripped my hand, eyes rimmed red. No. It's not too late, Lynn. Not for us. I can wait for you, 3 years, 5 years, as long as it takes. As long as you come back, we'll get married, okay? If you want, we can do it now. Andy, I don't want that. I pulled my hand away, cool and steady. We've already broken up. For a moment his face went blank, like the life had drained out of it. His hand hung in the air, unable to fall. Andy, we were together 5 years, I said. For those 5 years I clung to so many unrealistic hopes about us. I know you've been confused for a long time. After today, you'll be free. His eyes pooled, fighting it, desperate. No, those weren't fantasies. That was our future. I gave him a gentle smile.